Hello to my Cancer Collective. This is Zaida Velgara from Coming I Am, here with your astrology for September 2026. I hope you enjoy. So for all you guys that are new, I usually pick at least 3 astrological events. I let you know how it's going to affect your collective, and then I use tarot and oracle to kind of let you know how it's going to affect you. All right. Keep in mind that these are general messages. I let the information out. It's your responsibility to know if it resonates with you or not, or if it's actually happening in your life or not. It's very lateral thinking. So keep that in mind also. And this really needs your discernment when you're hearing these messages. Besides that, I only do one reading per month, per sign, per language. So just in case you don't see more readings at a time, it's because of that. The first thing we're going to be looking at is September 10th. This September 10th, we have new the full moon. I'm reading it in Spanish and then translating it to you. The full moon in Virgo, Uranus retrograde in Gemini, Mercury in Libra, and Venus in Scorpio. First of all, Venus in Scorpio will make you obsessed with something. And something that you might be obsessed with is things of the past. And like the shoulda, woulda, couldas are a remedy in this situation. But the thing is that though the shoulda, woulda, coulda that come up might be lurking in your mind, I also feel like because the Mercury's in Libra, I feel like you're going to be able to kind of understand why things took place the way they took place, understand what it is that you're really supposed to do, and understand how you've been holding yourself back so that you can move forward. It's like it kind of sucks to bring back an issue from the past, but it also is a good thing that you're bringing back an issue from the past, because this time your head is kind of straight to be able to fix it. All right. So every single time I do this introduction, they tell me something different almost all the time for these signs. So let's find out about you for the September, what they want you to know. September 10th. Wow, victim and poet. Okay, so the victim card comes out. Oh, I forgot to turn the camera over. Okay, and the victim card says, prevents you from letting yourself be victimized or victimizing others. And then the second, the poet, it says expresses soul's insight in symbolic language. I know exactly what this is. Okay, what I'm feeling that September is going to bring up. Remember how I told you you're going to be obsessed with something and you're going to realize how you've been self-sabotaging, blah, 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 mess of stuff. Sometimes things happen to us and they keep repeating. The cycle keeps repeating, like being rejected by people, attracting narcissists, being rejected by a job, triggers with your partner, things like that. And they just keep coming up. And in your mind, before, you used to be like, I don't know why everybody hates me. I try to do all the right things, blah, blah, blah. And having that victim narrative. And what I'm feeling with, because this poet energy, do you see the bird is coming out of her mouth kind of stuff? The birds of peace are coming out of her mouth. I think that's the energy of the Mercury in Libra, where you're starting to realize how, maybe it's not that these things are happening, but that you refuse to push away that job, push away those friendships, push away that narcissist, or make the adjustments that your partner is asking for from your relationship so that you guys can work together. Do you see? It's like, it's easy to say it's this person and that person, this other person, but it's really hard to say, hey, it's maybe me, right? And in this, I feel like you're going to start getting your head straight about like what's your responsibility, what's not your responsibility, and then kind of taking that into account. I feel like there's the thing that has been limiting you, especially with connections, growth, expansion, etc., and isolating you really has been this, like, you're protecting yourself because you're a victim. Does that make sense? And I feel like that's about to leave. And that's great, because as soon as you leave that, all of a sudden you feel less disempowered and more like stronger. It improves your health. You're not anxious. There's so much positivity that could come from this. So let's see how it's going to play. Look at that. The Eight of Cups in reverse came out first. There's something you haven't walked away from yet. Magicians here, the Two of Cups, the Hermit, the Three of Cups, oof, the Eight of Pentacles, and the Page of Wands. I can tell you this is work related, okay? So the thing that you haven't walked away from, I don't think it's that you haven't walked away from, but it's a thought process that hasn't left you yet, right? And it's something that you have been adamant about manifesting. Like, you want this to happen. You've done, if you're a witchy person like moi, you've probably done rituals about it. You have done your vision boards, you've done your manifestations, blah, 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 because you strongly want something to come towards you. It can be a job offer, it can be a partner, it can be a friend group, it can be organizations. I don't know what it is, because all of us have that thing that we're looking for, the Two of Cups energy, that that I hear entanglement or attachment, like that thing that will help move us in the next, on our next phase, right? That offer. And you haven't walked away from it because inside of you, you still feel like it's yours. And if you feel it so strongly, it's because it is yours. And I feel like what's going to happen is that you're going to, like, have some kind of connection. It might be an event you go to, it might be a time of celebration, drinking, having fun, just like you disconnect from this want, and then it kind of clicks something where you start working on it in a different angle, and you start going in a different path to get what you want. So it might be you always were supposed to get what you feel strongly you deserve. But what I feel is going to happen is that once you have this little retreat, because the Three of Cups for me, it feels like you're going to have like a little retreat, like you're going to get away from it, you're going to have some fun, you're going to entertain yourself or whatever. When you return, I feel like you're returning with like a fresh pair of eyes. The Page of Wands is like new actions, new way of approaching this issue that makes you feel like a victim. On the bottom of the deck, I feel what you don't see is the Six of Cups with the Tower card. I feel like that's the old mindset that's going to be broken up. Then it creates a situation where you have the car with, I mean, the Chariot card with the Three of Wands. And I like this Chariot card because there's two ways the person can go, like the witch can go, but she doesn't know which ones, and she's kind of freaked out about it. But it's still, the other one's talking about taking the opportunity anyway. So it's kind of like there is no wrong direction, there's just movement. And I think that maybe, let's say this is a friend group and um you keep attracting the same kind of friends, you know, the users, the moochers, or whatever. It's like the only way that you were going to attract something different is if you left where you were and decided to try something different, right? So if, like, for example, if you always find new friends when you go to the farmers market, well, the farmers market is going to have the same kind of people going there. So this time you decide to go to, like, the library or a retreat somewhere, and then all of a sudden, oh my god, you're meeting all these different peoples and you're networking differently and you're going in a new direction, and you're like, oh, I can make this happen. This group kind of clicks with me a little bit better. I think it's not, it really, it was me, but it was them too. Does that make sense? Because it was me because I was so wanting them, or wanting to stay there, or wanting to connect to this group. But it, once I realized it's not that I'm not good enough for this group, it's just that this group is not for me, then I'm able to go to another direction and then make it happen. I'm hoping that you're understanding where that's coming from. I'm seeing the full moon and a heartbreak, and that is interesting because what I'm seeing here is this is a full moon, remember, in Virgo, and I feel like it's releasing this heartbreak. Okay. And I also feel like this is a prelude of something that might potentially come in the future. That the following moon cycle, let me look it up for you which one it is. The following moon cycle might bring some sadness, but I don't think it's sadness on your behalf right now. I think it's um bittersweet energy where you're sad to leave, but you know you should. So let's see. In September, we have the new moon on the 10th. Oh, I said full moon, right? It's the new moon. Just trust. Okay. The full moon's on the 26th. So maybe something's going to happen that might seem a little heartbreaking on the 26th. But look, it's heartbreaking for the other side because you're presenting like the Queen of Wands and the Queen of Pentacles. You started as the Page of Wands here, and this is future like that you don't see. And you go from the Page of Wands to the Queen of Wands, and that literally is you're taking actions, you're moving forward, you're passionate, you might be a little feisty, and you're moving in a new direction, but in a way that's very stable and grounding because it's also the Queen of Pentacles. So, I mean, I would like to tell you that it's like good bad energy, right? Because nobody wants to know that you've been self-sabotaging, right? But once you figure it out, you're like, okay, well, that sucked and let's move on. It's kind of what I'm seeing here. But it's after like a period of like break. I'm feeling like you take a break, which causes that to happen. So the next thing we're going to be looking at is September 23rd. The sun enters Libra. So when the sun is in Libra, this is now Libra season. Libra season has a way of opening our eyes on things that need to bring balance. We need to bring balance in. Okay. So this is like, let's say starting the 23rd, you start having the same theme of a problem. Like you start having car problems all the time and you're trying to ignore them. And you've kind of known that you've had car problems for a while. But this is when you're like, oh no, get the car fixed before it causes a problem. We also have the autumn equinox going on this time, and this is things falling off of you. And I think it's problems. I mean, I didn't feel that in other signs, but in this sign, I feel like because you're nipping the problems in the butt now that you can see them. Cancer, you feel like very in September, you feel like very proactive. Like, you know what? Yeah, I got this. I got to do something different. All right, let's see about this. Acceptance, purity, change. Oof. I think that around the 23rd, there might be a potential for some kind of offer. Okay, some kind of offer. Remember how I kept talking about that Two of Cups energy that you really want? And then I saw the Three of Swords happening over here around the moon. Oh, and I told you the moon was the 26th. Okay, this is starting to link a little bit too much. The synchronicities are getting a little bit too synchronistic. So what I'm seeing is that there might be a potential that around that 23rd, the week of the 23rd, right? When Libra season starts, where you get accepted to something and it's a genuine offer and it's going to change your life dramatically. This is interesting. Look at it. I picked up this deck and we have the moon, so confirming it is something to do with that full moon on the 26th. Let's see. Wow. The first thing we have is the Emperor energy. So I don't know if you're going to be offered a position where you're stepping a little bit higher. The Five of Swords energy is here. Nine of Pentacles. Five of Pentacles. Oh, this is interesting. Seven of Pentacles. Magician. Eight of Wands. See, I told you I felt bittersweet on this energy. So we're seeing that you're going to get some kind of position, some kind of offer, some kind of something that's entering into your life where you feel more power, more authority, more direction in your life. But I also see things coming towards you that are, I feel like they're your feelings. Okay. This is the first time I feel this with the Five of Swords. I feel like your feelings are going to try to come in and make you feel like this isn't as good as you wanted it to be, or finding shortcomings from something, like, okay, I got that, but it's not like exactly what I wanted, or they don't look how I wanted, or I don't feel the same way that I wanted to feel. And with the Nine of Pentacles, I'm seeing that no, this is exactly what you wanted. Like, this is going to be really good. You're going to feel very stable, abundant, free, etc. And then here comes the feelings again, Five of Pentacles. But maybe I'm letting other things out in the cold. It could have been better this other way. It would have been more perfect if I could have done. It's the woulda, shoulda, couldas again. And then here with the Seven of Pentacles, it's like, no, this is an investment. It's what you manifested, and it's going to be very positive for you. Make the move. And I'm seeing you moving, but there's like I keep hearing in the back of my head, it would have been better if it would have been this way instead of how it is. Like, I accept it. I'm thankful. Okay, great. I'm going to go this direction, but I wish it would have been. I wish it would have been. And I feel like that's a bad energy to have, because you're kind of throwing salt on yourself. That's what they say in Spanish. It's kind of like you're wishing bad attention for yourself. If it's like, if you can't get past that, I wish it would be better. We have the Strength card with the Queen of Wands. Again, the Queen of Wands come up. You are very passionate. You're very, people are calling you, and this situation is working for you because it legit is for you. And you're very strong in this energy. The Eight of Swords with that, with the Hierophant. I think that's an interesting combination, because that combination feels like a belief system that keeps having you trapped. And then we have the King of Swords and the Fool card, which is literally telling you to cut free from that and take your leap. And then the Empress with the Death card, because you're entering a period of death and transformation. I think mid-month on the 23rd, Cancer, I think the biggest problem you might find is yes and no and yes and no and yes and no. Like, it could have been better. It would have been better. I would have, you know what I'm saying? That's what it's kind of feeling like. It's feeling like you could have done more, or it could have been better, or like, I'm happy this new positive thing is happening in my life, but it would have looked better this way, or I would have preferred it this way. It feels like that. Like I said, just be very mindful not to stay in that energy, because it does bring negative energy into a very positive growth that's entering into you. Like, nip it in the butt before it gets bigger, because you're going to find problems with whatever this offer is, because it doesn't look how you perceived it should. Okay. The last thing that we're looking into is September 28th through the 30th. Mars enters Leo and Mercury goes into Scorpio. That's really hot energy. And what I mean by hot energy is that Mars in Leo is like, your ego and your inner lion that can fight in war is in with the energy of war. This is like double fire, intensifying that energy of Leo. And then we also have this Mercury in Scorpio, and it's kind of like Scorpio has a way to like be extremely direct. And then when you match that up with the energy of speech and your mind, you might be extremely forceful starting the end of the month. So let's see how this is going to play out for you. Like, I don't know why, but the middle of the month is like, yay, this is great, but wow, it would have been so much better if it would have happened over here. I would have done it with this person, or this situation kind of played out over there. You know what I'm saying? Okay, tell me about the 28th to the 30th, because I don't want to bring that energy over. I want to see how this is going to play out for you, Cancer. Oops. First one, impasse. That's a block. A block because you have to make a choice. Complacency is here. and abundance. Okay, this is all about perception. Okay, there is something you're not going to be able to move towards. Again, I feel the energy starting on the 23rd, but there is something you're not going to be able to move towards. There's going to be a block on your path. And that is going to make you feel kind of, I want to say, melancholic, because you're going to have to accept whatever it is that's coming in the 23rd the way it's coming. Oof, sorry, I'm adjusting my seat. But however it's coming, and that's just the way you're going to have to accept it. Okay? So, like, kind of one of those things of you got the perfect job. It's just now you're going to have to drive an hour to go to work. And it's like, it would have been so much better if it was just like 20, 30 minutes away from my house, you know? Or it could have been something like, oh my gosh, I totally met all this great group of people. Too bad that we can only meet like once a month because I have so much going on in my life right now. You know what I'm saying? One of those things. So it's like the block, you're just going to have to submit to it because there's no way for you to work around this impasse that is coming into your life. It just is what it is. And your job is to see the abundance of the situation, because see what they're seeing here is like there's a coin missing. One lost his coin, one's gaining a coin. So it's like you win some, you lose some, but you just have to accept it how it rolls. I don't know why this energy feels like there's resistance in your behalf, because you're like, man, this could have been so much better over here, or don't, I don't know, I feel that energy in this reading. It's so weird. So I feel like in September you're going to get what you want. It's just not going to look how you want it to look, and you're like, Paul's not right now, or not like this, or something like that. Let's see. High Priestess. And I think you're going to stay quiet to whatever it is that you find out. You're going to keep it to yourself. Three of Cups. The Three of Cups showed up in the beginning. And that's that retreat, fun times, little whatever. I think you're going to keep it quiet to whoever you're hanging out with in the beginning of the month. Emperor card shows up again. So definitely it's a leadership energy that's coming in. We have the King of Coins. This is going to take a little bit to adjust to, is what I'm hearing. Page of Swords. You're going to be learning a lot through this process. Death card to the Two of Cups. Because this thing on the 23rd that I'm seeing over here for the 28th to the 30th means that there are going to be some things that you're not going to be able to connect to, or that you're going to have to change up, right? You win some, you lose some. Death is on here. Like, you win some, you lose some is the theme that I'm seeing here. We have something you don't see is that the block is being cut off. We also see that though the block is being cut off, you feel a little bit insecure about this abundance that is entering into your life, because you feel like it's going to block some kind of connection that you really wanted. And you're going to have to walk away from some kind of manifestation that you wanted to create. But as you're sulking in the sadness, there's actually a lot of things happening, moving and shaking and moving forward. And eventually you're going to see, when you see this perspective that is coming through, that this is actually something that I want to say was written, but I don't know why I want to say that. But also it's more, it looks better on paper is what I'm hearing. It's like, I hear it's more kosher. It's more feng shui. So, I mean, sometimes we perceive that we know how something should work out, but sometimes if we just roll with the punches and go with the flow, we realize in the long run, hindsight 2020, um, that it actually worked out exactly how it was supposed to. Because if it would have worked out a different way, it would have slowed something else up. I do see you keeping your mouth shut about something. And I feel like you're keeping it shut to whoever you were celebrating with in the beginning of the month. Um, you're in this position of leadership kind of thing that you're stepping into. Like you're going to start feeling embodiment of that emperor energy where you feel more in control of your life. But whatever is coming in is something that you're going to be learning a lot from, and you're going to have to be taking baby steps, and it's going to definitely change a lot of connections that you have made. I mean, again, every single time I see a sad card, I see a good card with it. And so I think that whatever upsets your matrix, let's say that, in mid-September, that is what you wanted, but not the way you wanted it, or on the time you wanted it, or in the whatever you wanted that. Um, just go with the flow is what I want to tell you, because it's not going to change if you get frustrated, but you can slow the positive progression in your life, right? Because if we are in that pessimistic viewpoint, we're not going to see the positive that comes out of this situation. Um, that might not look exactly like you wanted, but it was what you wanted. That's really important to state right there, because it was what you wanted, just not exactly how you wanted it. Does that make sense? I hope that helps.